He wasn't loud, he wasn't flashy, he didn't chase headlines. While others performed with drama, he delivered with silence. But make no mistake, Jacques Kallis quietly built a career that stands among the greatest in cricket history. Over 10,000 runs, nearly 300 wickets, in both formats. Yet somehow, his name doesn't echo like the others. This is the story of a legend who never asked for the spotlight. He earned it. Jacques Kallis, the most underrated great the game has ever seen. Jacques-Henri Kallis was born on October 16, 1975, in Cape Town, South Africa. Growing up during the final years of apartheid, life was anything but simple. But young Jacques found clarity in one place, on the cricket pitch. From the backyard to school tournaments, it was clear. Kallis had a gift. But he wasn't a prodigy in the flashy sense. He wasn't explosive. He was precise, measured, almost stubborn in his discipline. In 1993, at just 18, he made his first-class debut for Western Province. 2 years later, he was called up to the national team for a test against England at Kingsmead. His start was rocky, just 1 run in his debut innings. Critics whispered, was he too defensive, too slow? But Kallis had what most young players lack, patience. He knew how to grind, and soon that quiet grit would turn into greatness. For Jacques Kallis, the journey had begun, not with fireworks, but with focus, and it was only a matter of time before the cricketing world took notice. By the late 1990s, Kallis began transforming into South Africa's batting backbone. His breakthrough came in 1997 against Australia, when he scored a defiant century at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, under immense pressure. It was the moment critics were silenced, and a legend quietly announced himself. Kallis wasn't built for viral moments. His cover drive didn't explode, it glided. His batting wasn't aggressive, it was calculated. And yet, the runs kept flowing, year after year, series after series, against every team and in every condition. Over 13,000 runs in Test cricket. 45 centuries, 58 50s, an average of 55.37, higher than Sachin Tendulkar, Brian Lara, and Ricky Ponting. In ODIs, he added over 11,000 runs, 1,700s, and the same calm presence under pressure. But what truly made Kallis a phenomenon was that he wasn't just a batsman. He bowled over 25,000 deliveries across formats, claiming nearly 600 international wickets. Medium pace, sharp bounce, and deadly accuracy, Kallis was a complete cricketer, a rare breed. In cricket history, only a few names appear in both the 10,000 runs and 200 wickets club. Jacques Kallis did it across formats, something even the greats like Sachin and Dravid couldn't manage. He was South Africa's wall, the calm in the chaos. And the runs, they never stopped coming. Being a top-order batter is hard. Being a frontline bowler is even harder. But being both? That's a different level of exhaustion. Jacques Kallis did it all and made it look easy. Every test match, every ODI, Kallis carried the load of 2 players, batting for hours, then coming back to bowl tight spells. There was no glamour in it, no viral clips, just relentless, world-class output. His bowling wasn't express pace, but it was intelligent. Subtle seam movement, accuracy, and bounce made him a consistent threat. He often broke partnerships when others couldn't. And after a long day in the field, he'd walk out to bat with the same composure. No complaints, no theatrics. Few in cricket history have mastered the dual role for as long and as consistently as Kallis. Not Botham, not Flintoff, not even Kapil Dev. The team needed balance. Kallis was that balance. He allowed South Africa to play an extra bowler or an extra batter, because he was both. He didn't chase attention. He chased results. And in doing so, Jacques Kallis became the heartbeat of South African cricket. With stats that rival the greatest names in cricket, you'd expect Jacques Kallis to be celebrated like a global icon. But strangely, he wasn't. Why? Part of the answer lies in his personality. Kallis was quiet, reserved, almost introverted. He didn't seek attention. He wasn't flashy like Kevin Peterson. He didn't have the swagger of Chris Gale. He wasn't the poster boy like Tendulkar. He just played. Even his celebrations were muted. No chest beating, no dramatic jumps. A simple raise of the bat. That was Jacques Kallis. Then there was the media. In the golden age of cricketing superstars, Kallis wasn't seen as marketable. He didn't give explosive interviews or headline-grabbing quotes. And so, despite his numbers, he often flew under the radar. There's also the fact that he played for South Africa, a team full of elite players but often overshadowed by India's passion, Australia's aggression, or England's media machine. And perhaps most of all, Kallis lacked what some call a defining moment. No World Cup final heroics, no last ball six, just a mountain of consistent performances across 2 decades. But here's the truth. Greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's measured in silence, in discipline, in longevity. Jacques Kallis didn't dominate the spotlight. He dominated the scorecard. For all his brilliance, there was one thing missing from Jacques Kallis's glittering career: a World Cup trophy. He featured in 5 World Cups between 1996 and 2011. South Africa entered many of them as strong contenders, but heartbreak followed every time. In 1999, they were just 1 run away from the final. In 2003, a miscalculation in Duckworth Lewis knocked them out on home soil. In 2011, they collapsed in the quarterfinals. Kallis was always solid, but never part of a team that could go all the way. Some critics argued he played too slowly in high-pressure chases, that he lacked the X factor in crunch moments. But what they ignored was this: Kallis was often the only one holding the innings together. Yes, he never had that iconic World Cup moment. But without him, South Africa might not have reached those positions at all. Cricket is a team game, and while Kallis never lifted a World Cup, he carried the team far more than they carried him. In December 2013, Jacques Kallis played his final Test match, bowing out with a century, his 45th, against India. A fitting farewell for a player who always let his bat do the talking. But even after retirement, Kallis didn't step away from the game. Instead, he transitioned into a mentor, passing on his knowledge to the next generation. He became a batting consultant for South Africa, working quietly behind the scenes. His technical mind and calm presence helped guide young players like Quinton de Kock and Aiden Markram. Kallis also took on coaching roles in the IPL, particularly with Kolkata Knight Riders, where he served as head coach and mentor. Under his guidance, KKR remained one of the most consistent teams in the league. He even worked with the England national team as a batting consultant in 2020. Though his stint was brief due to travel restrictions, his presence was deeply respected. Still, Kallis was never one to hog the camera. No big speeches, no self-promotion, just quiet service to the game he loved. Whether as a player or a coach, Jacques Kallis remained what he always was: steady, humble, and elite. Away from the cameras, Jacques Kallis lives the same way he played: quietly, gracefully, and without fuss. For much of his playing career, Kallis kept his personal life out of the spotlight. But in 2019, he married Charlene Engels, a South African model and media personality. The two had been together for several years before tying the knot. In 2020, they welcomed their first child, a son named Joshua. For Kallis, who lost his father Henry to cancer in 2003, fatherhood became a deeply meaningful chapter in his life. He often speaks about how his father was his biggest influence, taking him to practices, supporting him through the early days, and pushing him to stay grounded. Despite his wealth and fame, Kallis lives a relatively low-key lifestyle. No flashy cars, no constant social media. Instead, he spends time with family, plays golf, and enjoys fishing along South Africa's stunning coastline. Faith also plays a quiet but steady role in his life. He's a devoted Christian, never loud about it, but always guided by it. Behind the records and trophies is a man who values peace, privacy, and the people closest to him. Jacques Kallis may be a global cricket icon, but at heart, he's just a man who never forgot where he came from. Jacques Kallis's cricket career brought him not only fame, but also significant wealth. Today, his net worth is estimated to be around $35 to $40 million. His earnings came from years of playing international cricket, lucrative IPL contracts with Kolkata Knight Riders and Royal Challengers Bangalore, and various endorsements. Unlike many celebrities, Kallis prefers a modest lifestyle. He owns properties in Cape Town but avoids flashy displays of wealth. His passions include golf, wine tasting, and wildlife safaris, hobbies that reflect his connection to South Africa's natural beauty. Though he earned millions, Kallis's focus has always been on stability and legacy rather than extravagance. He invested wisely, ensuring a comfortable life for his family and a secure future. In interviews, he's emphasized the importance of humility and hard work, values he's lived by on and off the field. For Jacques Kallis, success isn't about showing off. It's about being the best quietly and leaving a lasting impact. When you look at cricket's all-time greats, Jacques Kallis's name belongs right at the top. He is one of only 3 players in history to score over 10,000 runs and take more than 200 wickets in both Test and ODI formats, a feat unmatched by legends like Sachin Tendulkar and Rahul Dravid. His 13,289 Test runs and 292 wickets make him South Africa's highest run scorer and one of their leading wicket-takers. His contributions helped South Africa become a dominant force in world cricket for nearly 2 decades. Kallis was inducted into the ICC Cricket Hall of Fame in 2020, a fitting tribute to a career defined by consistency, resilience, and quiet excellence. Fellow legends like Sachin Tendulkar, Ricky Ponting, and Rahul Dravid have praised his technique and temperament, calling him one of the most complete cricketers ever. Though the spotlight may have shone brighter on others, true cricket fans know that Jacques Kallis's silent dominance changed the game forever. He wasn't just a player. He was a blueprint for what it means to be a world-class all-rounder. Jacques Kallis didn't seek fame. He let his cricket do the talking, and in the end, that's the legacy that matters most. The most underrated great the game has ever known.